Hey everybody, I'm here today to tell you how to drive in the fog safely. In this video, I will be going over 4 simple tips that will allow you to drive safely in the fog. Driving in the fog is actually quite difficult, but if you employ these 4 tips, you will be able to do it safely with ease. Now, these tips are actually easy enough that you can use them the next time that you're driving in the fog. They're not hard, they're very simple. So let's get right to it. First and foremost, the first tip is to turn on your fog lights. And I know that this seems obvious, but a lot of people simply don't do it. So if you notice that it's foggy outside and your car is equipped with fog lights, turn them on. If your car is not equipped with fog lights, I would highly recommend getting them installed in your car or on your car, because they are some of the most useful things that you can do to your car. Fog lights are super useful, and they allow for safer driving in the fog because they have a different type of beam and a different cutoff point and so forth, as opposed to regular headlights or high beams or low beams. So drive with your fog lights on. With that being said, it is also a good idea on the side to turn on your tail lights so that other people can see you when they are behind you and so forth. The second tip is to plan your trip. Now, I say this because it's really difficult to see in the fog. Now, if you are driving through just a little bit of fog, it might not be that difficult, but with severe fog, it can be really difficult to see. So with that being said, if you're looking for street signs or looking for highway exits, you might get lost. You might cause yourself to be an unsafe driver in that moment. So with that being said, I would highly advise that you plan your trip, map out your trip and your route, and make sure that you know exactly where you're going before you leave the house, okay? Very good idea to plan your trip. It will allow you to drive safer in the fog. Tip number 3, you have to use a greater following distance. Now, a standard following distance when you're driving in dry road conditions and good road conditions, I should say ideal road conditions, is about 2 to 3 seconds of a following distance. Now, what that means is that if you're looking at the car in front of you, you're going to count the time that it takes from when they pass a certain object to when you pass a certain object. That's your following distance. So if a car in front of you is passing a set of lights, of traffic lights, and then you start counting and you get up to 2 seconds or 3 seconds by the time that you pass that set of lights, that is your following distance. So with that being said, you should be aiming for 5 seconds or more if there's foggy conditions. Now, if there's extreme fog, then you should up that to 6 or even 7 seconds. That's the following distance that you need to be safe when you're driving in the fog. And last but not least, tip number 4 is be very attentive. Now, I always say that this is something that you should do always when you're driving. Be as attentive as you can be for the given situation. But if you're driving in fog, you should make an extra effort to be attentive. That means maybe turning off your radio. That means maybe not thinking about things other than driving. Sometimes as we drive, we have other thoughts, we do other things. That means just limiting the distractions as much as possible. If your level of attention is as such regularly when you're driving, if you're driving in the fog, you have to up or increase that level of attentiveness. So with that being said, take your regular attentiveness level and then increase it when you're driving in the fog, okay? And that's basically it. Now, driving in the fog, like I said, is actually pretty difficult. It's one of the more difficult things to do when you're driving. I would say it's more difficult to drive in snow than fog, but fog is definitely a close second place. And with all of that being said, these 4 tips, with a little bit of a bonus tip, there was almost 5 tips in this video because I spoke about turning on your taillights as well. These 4 tips plus the bonus tip are really crucial and important for driving in the fog safely. So if you want to drive safely in the fog, be the safest driver that you can be, even in the foggiest of the road conditions that you will ever experience, then you should definitely keep these 4 tips in mind and use them the moment that you start your car and you're driving in the fog. Well, actually before that, because you have to plan your route. So you should really start using them before you even start your car. And that's basically it. I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel for more car videos like this one. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.